He stayed silent, but inside a storm was raging like nothing anyone could see. To the world, he was calm, composed, maybe even unshakable. But beneath that still exterior, his heart was fighting a war for survival, for meaning, for hope. This is the story of every silent fighter who battles demons no one knows about, a battle fought in the depths of the soul, where no one can hear the screams, where the tears fall unseen, and where the strength to keep going must be found alone. Silence is often mistaken for weakness, but real strength is sometimes the quietest thing in the room. The man who stays silent is not defeated. He is not broken beyond repair. He is a warrior in the shadows, fighting for his life every single day. Because the battles we wage inside are the hardest. The fights no one applauds. The wars with doubt, fear, pain, and loneliness are the ones that shape the core of who we are. Think about it. How many times have you seen someone who looks okay on the outside, but deep down, they are barely holding on? Maybe it's a friend, a brother, or even yourself. The silence is not because there is nothing to say. It is because the words cannot express the weight crushing the chest, the heaviness that makes breathing feel like a challenge, the exhaustion that seeps into every part of the body. And yet, despite all this, he did not quit. Every day he woke up and faced the world with a face that said, "I am fine." But inside his mind was a battlefield. Memories that haunted him, mistakes that screamed louder than any voice, pain that would have crushed a lesser man. Yet he endured, not because the fight was easy, but because he understood something vital. The war inside him would define the man he was becoming. There is a deep courage in silence, the kind that can't be seen, but can be felt. It is the courage to wake up when every fiber of your being wants to give up. The courage to keep fighting when the whole world has turned its back. The courage to believe in yourself when no one else does. This courage is forged in moments of absolute despair, where the soul refuses to break no matter how heavy the load. He stayed silent, not because he was hiding from the world, but because he was gathering strength. Every tear shed in solitude, every sleepless night filled with doubt, every moment of pain endured alone was a brick laid in the foundation of his future. The silent fight was not a sign of defeat. It was preparation for victory. We live in a world that glorifies loud victories, shouts of success, visible achievements, celebrations in the spotlight. But the greatest victories often happen in silence. The battles we fight inside are where true transformation begins. The man who wins the war in silence becomes unstoppable because his strength is not dependent on applause or recognition. It is rooted in resilience, forged in solitude, and sealed with unbreakable faith. Imagine the weight he carried, the failures that made him question his worth, the betrayals that shattered his trust, the losses that threatened to consume him. Yet he did not let these chains define him. Instead, he chose silence as his shield and perseverance as his sword. The war inside was brutal, but so was his will to survive. He stayed silent because sometimes words are not enough to explain the depth of the pain. Sometimes silence is the only way to protect a fragile heart. It is in that silence that he found clarity. In the stillness, he heard the quiet voice of hope whispering, telling him to hold on, to keep moving forward, to believe in a tomorrow that looked so uncertain. Many will never understand the battles fought in silence because they only see what is loud and obvious. But true strength is found in those who endure in the shadows, who rise when no one is watching, who keep fighting even when it feels like the world is against them. He stayed silent, but his soul was screaming with the desire to live, to grow, to win. The path was never easy. There were moments when the darkness seemed endless, when giving up felt like the only option. But he discovered that silence could be powerful. It was a space to heal, to rebuild, to become more than the pain. It was in that silence that he met himself for the first time, truly met the man he was beneath the surface, beyond the scars and failures. This is the battle every man must face. The war within is not just about survival, it is about becoming strong, becoming wise, becoming someone who can stand tall no matter what life throws at him. The silence is the proving ground. The moments when you think you can't go on are the moments when you build a fortress inside that no storm can break. He stayed silent, but inside, he was fighting for his life. Not just the life he had, but the life he dreamed of. The life where pain did not rule him, where fear was a memory and hope was a fire burning bright. This fight required patience, faith, and above all, an unshakable belief in himself. Because when no one else believes, that belief must come from within. To fight in silence is to fight with honor. It is to understand that your scars do not make you weak, they make you human. That your tears are not shameful, they are part of your story. And that your silence is not emptiness. It is the space where a new man is born, a man who will never quit, no matter how hard life gets. There is a lesson here for all of us. When life breaks you, when people doubt you, when the world feels cold and indifferent, remember the man who stayed silent and fought for his life inside. He is a reflection of the strength that lies in each one of us waiting to be awakened. You don't have to shout your battles for the world to hear. Sometimes the quietest fight is the most heroic. So if you are struggling right now, if your heart is heavy and your mind is weary, know this: your silence does not mean defeat. Your pain does not mean failure. You are fighting a war that will define you, that will shape you into the person you are meant to be. Keep fighting. Stay silent if you must, but never give up. The world will not always see your struggle. They won't always understand the depth of your pain or the size of your courage. But your fight matters. It matters because it is your story, your journey, your life. And in the end, the man who stayed silent but fought with everything inside will rise. Not because he was loud, but because he was unbreakable. This speech is for the silent fighters, the unseen warriors, the men who carry battles in their hearts every day. You are not alone. Your silence is a sign of strength, not weakness. Your fight is real, and it will define the man you become. So hold on. Keep going. Believe in the power of your silent war, because when the battle inside is won, everything outside will change. The pain will fade, the scars will heal, and the man who stayed silent but never quit will stand tall, stronger than ever before. And that man will inspire others to find their own strength in silence, to fight their own wars with courage, and to believe, above all else, in themselves. You have this power too. You are stronger than your fears. You are braver than your doubts. You are worthy of the life you dream of. So when you feel alone in the silence, remember this speech. Remember this moment. The war you fight inside is not in vain. It is the greatest battle you will ever win. Keep fighting, keep believing, and never ever quit.